I feel that it's so important that humans partner with plants, so that I really want to work hard to establish this close bond, and I think the garden is the mechanism for doing that. Hi, my name is Lewis Feldman, and I am a faculty member in the Department of Plant and Microbial Biology, and recently I was also appointed the new director of the UC Botanical Garden. The garden is heavily used by classes. For example, the class that I teach, Biology 1B, we actually bring students up here and they actually use the garden for class projects. We also have undergraduates who do internships up here, and they work with the horticulturalists, and they also work with other individuals who are volunteers who work here in the garden. So there are many opportunities, and in fact, as the new director of the garden, I really would like to see more undergraduate involvement in activities at the garden. We do a lot of work with conservation, and that's a big effort that the garden has now in outreach. And it's important that we get undergraduates involved in conservation studies now, because you guys are the ones, your future is going to depend upon some of these conservation activities. One of the problems we have now is that many plants are in areas of the world that are being rapidly destroyed. And there are also plants in those areas that this garden is able then to grow and to keep growing. And in California in particular, many areas that have had native plants, for example, the slopes of Mount Tamalpais, there were a large number of native plants there which were eliminated. And the garden now is reintroducing those plants back to the places that they used to grow, and reintroducing not only the plants, but all the insects and all the other animals that come along with that kind of a plant community. You're going to see a lot of lizards. There are 2 species at least of snakes. They're gopher snakes and king snakes, I think, that are in the garden, and they are fairly common. The whole community really interacts, this partnership I talked about with each other. Okay, so what can people look forward to? This is a really interesting time now, because what has happened is that many plants which are Mediterranean plants become dormant in the summertime. And so, for example, we have plants which have been collected from the Canary Islands. And the Canary Islands have a climate very similar to California, where we have a long, dry, usually hot summer. And those plants become dormant. That's how they are able to weather that particular environment. Those plants now are getting ready to produce their shoots. So it isn't springtime here. It's getting to be almost winter, but it's really fall. And now the rains are going to come. The worst part of the year as far as temperature has passed. And so you're going to see a lot of plants like bulbs, plants which have gone through sort of a hibernation to avoid these very severe summer conditions, begin to grow. So I would say keep your eye on the ground that looks like it's bare now, because something's going to happen pretty soon.